Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today we're stepping into the high stakes, sometimes frustrating, but often rewarding world of paleography. We're going to see how passages that have been lost for decades are finally being restored in the new 3-volume edition of Leibniz's Philosophical Papers. Today we aren't just reading history, we're capturing it. When you work with Leibniz's manuscript, you quickly realise that for all his brilliance, he was not writing for a future audience. He was writing for himself. His pages are often a battlefield of cramped lines, erratic punctuation, and sudden shifts of thought that veer off into the margins. And they're also where his philosophy actually lives. This makes it important for editors to capture everything he wrote, wherever possible. But this hasn't always happened, as we'll see. Let's look at a text entitled Account of the Exploits of the Bishop of Tina in Hanover in 1683. It's a fascinating look at the church reunion negotiations that took place in Hanover and the reactions of some high-profile Protestants. The text is not well known, mainly because it was published a century ago in a biography of a Lutheran churchman. Or rather, part of it was. The whole text remains unpublished, though a translation of the entire piece will be included in the Religion and Theology volume of Leibniz's Philosophical Papers. Now, when we compare Leibniz's original manuscript with the published version, the faults are glaring. Many words were misread, and in several cases the editor simply gave up, omitting whole strings of words because they looked illegible. Here's one example of that. The yellow lines show the words that were missed. The thing is, these words aren't illegible. They're actually no harder to read than any of the other words in the manuscript. There's no smudging, fraying, unusually cramped writing, or anything that would make them especially difficult to decipher. So if you're familiar with Leibniz's hand, and you give this passage a good stare for long enough, the words will emerge, which we can see here along with the translation. It's worth noting that when Leibniz writes a Latin word that ends with AE, it often looks like an O with a little tail on the right, as is the case here. Now this recovered passage isn't just trivia. It's a crucial point about Philip Melanchthon's position on the papacy. The idea that Protestants might acknowledge the Pope provided he doesn't command anything contrary to the Gospels. Let's look at another text now, one from the Metaphysics, Natural Philosophy, Ethics and Jurisprudence volume. This text is called Animal Machine. Here, Leibniz is describing the circulation of blood and respiration in chemical, mechanical and structural terms without any reference to final causes. And as you look at the manuscript at the top of the page there, you can almost feel Leibniz running out of space. His handwriting gets smaller and more cramped as he gets closer to the bottom of the sheet, desperate to squeeze in one last thought before he runs out of paper. Past editors missed the very last line. But we can get it from the manuscript. The writing might be cramped, but it's not illegible. It might help to know that when Leibniz writes a Latin word that ends in US, as here with the word Cartesius, his peculiar orthography makes the US look rather like the letter Y. And that's very common. So now we know how Leibniz ended the text, with a reference to Descartes, who otherwise isn't mentioned in the text at all. In fact, Leibniz is referring to Descartes' work entitled The Description of the Human Body. These are just a couple of examples of where lost Leibniz passages have been captured in the new 3-volume edition of his Philosophical Papers. This means that for the first time we'll be able to see the complete text that Leibniz wrote rather than incomplete chunks. Thank you for your kind attention. In our next episode, we'll move from capturing the words to correcting the record. We'll look at how a close study of the manuscripts allows us to fix printed errors that go back decades. Next time, we'll be deciphering Leibniz.